distributed coordinating mechanism for the Detroit digital inclusion stakeholders who collaboratively share responsibilities, insights, resources, and expertise. Our values is number one, community, and making sure that it is locally led, expertly informed, and always listening and learning, growth, having a growth mindset, allyship for all, and ecosystem-wide solutions in everyone wins. When Detroit wins, we know that everyone wins. We also lift up equity and being able to enact our inequity values of inclusiveness, collaborativeness, transparent and accountability, and most important, making sure that the initiative and the things that are happening are sustainable. So we want to make sure that we're also building that culture of trust with progress. Together and speed of trust, we must build a culture of transparency and data sharing and collaborativeness that is really all about making the voice of Detroit heard in this initiative so that we can together close the digital divide for the city of Detroit. And these are ambitious goals, but we know that with the community involved and with all of you and all of the stakeholders that are in place, it is possible and it's going to happen. And it's going to happen by 2024. And we're going to put some things in place to make sure that it does. Thanks to all of you and your input. So with that, I am going to turn it over to the amazing committee management team members to give the Connect 313 updates.
Thank you for that, Tanya. We're going to start off with Kumisha Goss talking a little bit about our new membership portal. What is it? What is it for? And most importantly, how can we improve what we are doing currently? So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Q.
Hi, everyone. Michael's back for this portion. I just wanted to give a little bit more detail about the membership portal. So last time I let you guys know that we had one and it is now live on the Connect 313 website. Today, I just want to share my screen for a moment. Oh, let's see. It says it's disabled. Let me try again. Okay, there we go. Okay, everybody see the website? This is our website. You can find the membership portal under the Get Involved membership section. Early. And so there is a button now here for anyone who's already a member. To click to enter. So if you signed up to be a member in any of our previous versions of Typeform, you should already be a member and you can press this little blue button to get into your account. And I'm going to show you what that looks like once you're signed in. So this is the homepage for the new membership portal. It has a little bit about us. And here are the membership options. And then the main two sections here would be the posts and the upcoming events. So a new thing coming forward, events will be listed in the membership portal, and things that are membership only, like the community council, you could click on this event and it'll tell you what's happening, and also that we have the meeting link in here. So you can get into meetings through the membership portal in the future if you're having trouble finding the invite link like I do sometimes, or going back to your calendar. You can find all the events upcoming that will populate here. The second big thing that is here, which is multiple things, is the post section. So we have live posts here. The welcome members post, if you check read more, it's just a welcome, and then there's a link to our directory here. So you can click, now we have a member directory, so you can see who all is a part of Connect 313, and you can kind of see each other's interests. So your committee interests and subcommittee interests. This is because we got a lot of feedback that people wanted to know who they're working with, who else is working in the ecosystem. So this way we can see each other, know each other, and also see each other's interests. And then moving forward as we go through nomination processes later, everybody's intentions are clear. If they're interested in being on a committee or subcommittee, you have the option to do that, as well as the option to add a brief bio if you want to. But all of that is optional to share here. And there's quite a few of you that have done this already. So I encourage you to take a look at that. The other thing in the post section we want to share, there's two more things. We posted a note here about a training that's coming up that's available to people. So there will be notes like this that pop up here. We'll talk about this a little bit more later. We also have a Connect 313 member Slack that the link to is in here. But once you sign up for this membership portal, you should receive an invite to that members only Slack directly. So quite a few of you have also joined that space as well. So this membership portal is a place where you can come in, you can log in at the top right here. You should see your face or a little person. And now everyone has account settings. So if you change jobs, which quite a few people have done since Connect 313 has started, or you change emails, you can go in there and you can change those details yourself. You don't have to re-sign up for membership again. You can change your own email, change your phone number, anything like that, so you can make sure you stay connected. And so this is just so that everyone can have a little bit more contact. You have a home base for things that allows you to interact more with each other and to have direct access to most of the things that you'll be looking for on Connect 313 without hunting through the website. So all those member only things we'll be posting here in this membership portal for you guys to have easy access to. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I've got a ton of emails that people are joining this space, so I'm excited about that. And please let us know if there's anything else that you're looking for on this site or on this portal, things that you would like to see or discussions that you would like to see in that Slack channel so that we can get those added for you.
Thank you so much, Q. I'm going to go ahead and open the PowerPoint back up. There we go. And Q, if you want to talk a little bit about the website updates you've been working on.
Yes. So we have had a redesign of our website led by Increase team, but we're also working on just adding new resources to that page. So adding more resources, adding partner resources. We're working on some more explainer videos. So we encourage you to check out the connect313.org website and check it out frequently to see what's happening there. And once again, we are open to any feedback you have about that. The next thing we have, yes, new resources. They're on the resources page. Also, new suggestion form can be found on the website. It's under Get Involved as well. The new suggestion form has many of the same questions as the old suggestion form. What we have discovered in going through some of the suggestions is that people who are filling them out are leaving some questions empty that committee members would really like to know the answers to. Thank you, Michael. And so we just rearranged the questions to make them a little bit more logical in the order that they follow, and also to make sure that some of those questions are required. So that if someone fills out a suggestion, at the very least, they tell us what they're asking for, right? Make that part required, that they say they're looking for funding or device and connectivity. So there's a few changes there. I encourage you to try it out. If you're trying it out and you want to just click through the suggestion form, that's fine. Just don't submit it unless if it's a test. If it's a test, please write in there that this is a test, so we'll know to disregard it. But we encourage you to take a look at that. And if you're on a committee or if you submit a suggestion and you have questions about that, we also would love to hear from you about that. We want to make sure that that process is clear for people who are submitting their suggestions there, and that the information that we're getting is good for committees to actually proceed successfully with those as well. And if you have any digital literacy program info you'd like to add to our resource page, please email us at info@connect313.org. and let us know what's going on. We want to be aggregate source for those resources on our website.
Thank you so much for sharing about that, Q. We also have an opportunity that we'd like to share with everyone to participate in a Train the Trainer opportunity with everyone on. And I believe that someone from Everyone On was available to speak to this opportunity a little bit more. Was that right, Q?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yay. Thank you. Take it away.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here. A pleasure to be able to speak to you. My name is Anita Lee, and I am one of the program managers at Everyone On. Some of you who was probably at the community conversations meeting got an opportunity to speak with my colleague, Paulina. She is also one of our senior program managers at Everyone On. And so we wanted to come back to the table to give you a little bit more updates about how we want to move forward. When Paulina came on, we were kind of under a kind of a tight deadline. And because of that, this just wasn't enough time to get all you guys interested in hopping on. Let me back up. I don't want to go to the whole thing about Everyone On unless you guys are already familiar, but just in case you know, we are a national digital inclusion organization. And on our website, we have a offer locator tool where anyone in the country can type in their zip code and be able to find low cost offers that are available to them in their community, as well as low cost devices. The project, we are working with Microsoft Airband's team on an 8-city project. And while those things are wrapping up and we're having a great time, finish those up and affecting the individuals that we are trying to train, we realized very quickly that Detroit has a wonderful ecosystem. And we wanted to make sure that we was bringing something that was going to be additive to the organization and to other organizations that are members. We thought that it would be great talking with Q and some of the leadership that we would bring our Train the Trainer program to organizations. And this is for organizations, not for your citizens. And so we understand that even though we know lots of you are in this space and doing great work and doing digital literacy skills and doing classes, but we also know because of your great work, you guys are hopping on in organizations and agencies and community-based organizations that may not have completely have a structure in place around digital literacy. Like if I wanted to put on a class, what would I need? How would I go about doing that? And so we want to be able to assist you all with bringing that training to the hundreds of organizations that are already a part of Connect 313. And so we are looking at having some dates, probably late April or maybe early May. So I want everyone on here and also to all of the individuals to know about this Train the Trainer and signing up. It will be a day-long training where we will, I'm gonna make myself a little bit smaller. We're gonna talk about digital resources tailored to the organization. If you are already doing digital skills and training, we wanna be able to provide that to other organizations that are part of Connect 313 that may not know that you are providing those digital skills. So they'll have a place where they can bring their citizens, their clients, their customers, their patients, whoever they may be. We're going to talk a little bit about outreach and strategies, and I'm sure that you guys are aware of those types of things because that's what you're doing, you're outreaching. But we want to make sure that we continue to make sure that other organizations are aware that please leverage the Connect 313 community. going to talk a little bit about digital inclusion information in the Detroit area. We want to tailor it specifically for the organizations that you all are serving. Also give you updates on, all this wonderful money coming down the pike to assist them and how they can continue to build, strengthen the relationship so that when you guys start advocating to the state Michigan office, that you all have a concise plan in place, and we can assist with educating those organizations. And then the thing we would like to share is we're going to build out an editable toolkit, a toolkit that is probably definitely going to leverage all the great stuff that you guys have on the website, and maybe some additional things that is used nationwide to give these organizations so they can take it back to their programs team or anything like that, so they can create and curate digital skilling opportunities. I want to thank you for allowing me to come on and talk about this. We will give you more details when we get those things together. I want to make sure that we are, first and all, being additive to the Connect 1-3 ecosystem. We want to be additive. We don't want to duplicate any services that you all are doing. But sometimes, I look on, your website, it's awesome. And when you look on it, there's 500 and plus people that are members. And so we want to be able to bring more information. Knowledge is power, right? And so, I saw that, Tequan Brookins. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But yes, so the date on there is, was for today, the original date that we set. But unfortunately, we didn't really get the attendance and signups that we wanted. So we decided to postpone, and then we're going to come back together and give it more time to do more outreach with all of you. And then other organizations that are not on here will be able to come up with a good date and all those sorts of things. I'm available for any questions. I see all these cool things in the comments. I don't know if you guys want me to answer them or you want to move on, or
Anita.
Yes.
Sure thing. Yeah, why don't we have folks go ahead and continue to fill out the form, and then you can reach out to them because you get that information, correct, from the form?
I do not. Q, do I get it? I don't know. I get that information from the form. So Paulina and myself. So we'll use the same link because there were a couple people signed up originally there, and I don't want to lose them. So if you go ahead and sign up on that same registration link, Angeline, there is no deadline as long as you do it before the training starts. And I will personally, me, Q, will email you with the dates when they get set. So anybody who filled out that form, I will email you and let you know of the dates. And I will also update the dates on that membership portal for everyone.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
I need to raise my hand.
Yeah, sure thing. Yep, the website for that form is bit.ly/EO Detroit, and we'll make sure to send that out after the meeting as well. What was your question, Phyllis? Sorry.
No, that was my question. I just wanted, because I'm signed up, but I wanted to make sure that I take advantage of the training, but I wasn't quite sure where the form was, but that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, so we'll make sure to reach out to anyone who registers on that same form. So if you already registered, no need to register again. But if you are interested in the training, just go ahead and fill out that registration form, and Q will make sure that Anita has that information.
Yeah, please tell your friends, tell your partners that are interested in getting into this space. Our goal is to provide this training for 30 organizations in Detroit. So
awesome.
We're gonna
I did have one more.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you, Anita. This is great. Can organizations also engage you to maybe provide this training to like some of our senior centers or some of the other places that might need this as opposed to just at the organization?
So you're actually talking about providing digital skills classes to
Yeah.
seniors?
Yes.
I would probably refer you to a local organization, because we don't actually have a person in Detroit.
We can do it virtually though, right?
We can.
Okay.
But
I just need to know
yeah,
all my options.
yeah. I will be honest and I'll be very transparent and say that the deliverables for Detroit for this particular project only encompasses the train the trainer. But
Okay.
now that you have told me this, I will definitely take that back to my leadership and see how they would like to proceed, and also getting with Q and the other Connect 1313 folks to see how we can assist in that way if needed.
Okay.
Sound
Thank you.
good? All
Yeah.
right.
Just
Mr.
throwing out
Campbell?
there, that is part of the resource directory that we're putting together on our website, so that there are other digital literacy and skilling types of resources that are available locally. And if you have a resource that you're looking for in particular that you can't seem to find, that would be a perfect opportunity to submit a suggestion and say, here is the thing that I'm looking for that I'm not able to find locally. I'm looking for somebody who can offer a specific type of training to a specific population. That would be a perfect thing to submit as a suggestion, so that we can help to create that. Lashana, I see your hand raised.
Thank you. Just wanted to get a little more clarification about this program, the Train the Trainer program. I understand that it's virtual and it's basically for organizations such as ours that we're connected to kind of bring us up to speed. And I'm wondering exactly what are the details of the program or the timeline for the modules of the program. What exactly do they discuss or review? And what is the timeline for taking those?
So it's going to be a one-day training. And we will talk about the digital divide nationally and locally. We're also going to talk about those low-cost internet and device offers. But we're also going to go through different digital curricula and best practices if you want to actually put together a training. We'll talk about how you go about selecting an instructor and how to structure your different classes and just other resources, marketing, the fact that, if you're going to market a class to pre-beginners or beginners, that it's probably not a good deal if you put it on social media, because we have to go analog in order to get those folks that we need. So discussing those sorts of things, and then providing you with a toolkit with all of these things that we'll talk about that you can use and adapt for your organization. So basically, after I said all that, is assisting your organization with creating or curating digital literacy programming within your current services. And how would that look? Teaching you how that might look. Does that make sense?
Yes, so I'm actually, yes, that's great. So I'm connected to a couple of organizations that are doing just that, trying to pull out trainings. And the problem is always, where do we start? And what level are people at? And how do we approach this? And how are we inclusive? And so it would be nice to know exactly what modules your opportunity offers, so that people would know if they need to plug in or where they need to plug in, or if you're talking about the same audience capability as they are. So I just would like a little more detail about the modules themselves and the actual training and what it covers, so that as we're sharing the information out, that others can know exactly what it is that they're signing up for.
Great. Anita, how about you put together or share that material, if you have it, with Q, or send it to info@connect313, and we'll make sure to share that out to the whole council. Just for sake of time, want to move on to the next thing, but
I have
thank
that
you so much.
and I will share it out. I should have been out in an email, but I will resend it out, Lashana. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time. I'm going to go hop off you guys' meeting and go with my programs meeting. So thank you so much. Y'all have a great, fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks, Anita. We appreciate it. With that, I want to transition over to a fun little announcement from the Rocket Community Fund. Micah, if you want to talk a little bit about this exciting partnership that y'all are presenting, I think this is very cool.
Thank you so much, Jordan. So very excited to share that Rocket Mortgage recently announced a partnership with the Detroit Tigers, similar to the partnership that we had with the Lions during football season. We now have Rocket Mortgage foul poles, and every time a home run is hit at the foul poles, Rocket Mortgage will contribute $5,000 to the Connect 313 fund. And if a home run results in a grand slam, the donation then becomes $20,000. With our partnership with the Lions, we were able to, I think we were able to raise close to $40,000. And so through this partnership, I'm feeling like it's going to be a little bit more than that. I'm really excited about this. This will help us continue our digital divide work in the city of Detroit, add some more money to that bucket of funds that we have to do, to carry out those amazing suggestions that you all in the community will be submitting to us. So let's hope for a great season for the Tigers.
Yes. Thank you, Micah. That is so cool. I love all of these partnerships, with sports teams who are willing to contribute here. And we're really excited to see that and see how this baseball season goes. With that, we wanted to share out a little bit about one of our community ambassador host sites is holding a meeting coming up in May. I believe we have someone on the line from Osborne Neighborhood Alliance.
Yeah, that would be me. My name is Steve Henry, and hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Steve Henry, and I am an ambassador with Osborne Neighborhood Alliance. We recently had a town hall on the 17th, which was a great turnout, and really it was for business owners and residents. So we're going to continue with our town halls, and this one is to our faith-based organizations. And really, it doesn't matter if you're in the District 3 or not, but we noticed that not only did our businesses and our residents suffer, but also our churches and our fellowships also suffered as well during this digital divide. And so while we're doing this, we want to make sure that they are informed about what we're trying to do. As we know, a lot of from our churches had to go to Zoom or Teams or whatever the case may be. And now we're at the endemic, they're trying to figure out what do they do next. So we're hosting our next town hall, which is on May 19th at 6 p.m. to 8:30. It's located in the Matrix Center on the East Side. So come on over to the East Side if you're a West Sider, but definitely come out and support or invite your pastor or parishioner or just your church members in general. We're going to have some good conversation, and we have some good panelists that will be on that particular town hall. If you have any questions, my name is Steve Henry, and my information is on this flyer. Micah also has it, and she can send it out to everyone as well. So everyone is more than welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And we really look forward to this event. Exciting to have something in person to look forward to. And I think this will be a really, really great conversation. So please share this throughout your faith-based networks. Everyone is invited to attend. You don't have to be located in District 3. And we are really looking forward to seeing y'all there. Another opportunity that we wanted to share with folks, we actually have a lot of fun updates this go around, is there's an opportunity to participate in a focus group hosted by Microsoft. They are looking to expand their affordable computer initiative in Detroit, and they came to Connect 313 to learn a little bit more about how they can do that a little bit more effectively. So they're going to be hosting a focus group through the Devices and Connectivity Committee. It's coming up on April 7th at 4:30 p.m. It will be hosted virtually. So if anyone is interested in that opportunity, just go ahead and drop your email in the chat, and we'll make sure to send you an invite to that opportunity so that you can give your thoughts and feedback about how they can expand their affordable computer initiative locally. And we think that will be a really robust conversation. Oh, did the audio drop out for anyone else? I'm seeing some chats. Folks can't hear me.
I heard you the whole time, Jordan.
Okay. Alrighty. not sure. We'll figure it out. If anyone can't hear me, let me know. We can try and call back in. Just a reminder that the emergency broadband benefit has transitioned over to the Affordable Connectivity Plan. We do still have the call center active currently, and we are really pushing hard to make sure that folks are aware that this benefit is still available. It's a little bit different than it was before, and it's called something different, but it is still available for folks to sign up. And we really want to make sure that everyone who qualifies is taking advantage of it, because it's only been written into law for 5 years, and if people don't use it, it won't stick around. So please give us a call at our call center. It's run by Connect 313. So it is a local call center. This isn't like a national hotline. So give us a call at 313-241-7618. That's also on the Connect 313 website if you want to share that with your participants and clients. We really want to get the word out about that. And then I believe that someone from our Policy Advocacy and Ecosystem Committee is here to talk about this opportunity as well.
Jordan, before we move on to this, I will also add that for the Affordable Connectivity Program, if you or anyone that you know is already enrolled in one of the low-cost internet programs provided by either Comcast, AT&T, or any other internet service provider, it's more than likely that you already qualify. So just you can contact your service provider directly and let them know, hey, I want to transition over to the Affordable Connectivity Program, and this should be a really easy and simple switch over. And if you are enrolled in one of those programs, then that takes your internet bill to $0. It's a 5-year program, so you will not have an internet bill for 5 years as long as you remain qualified.
Fantastic point, Micah. Thank you for lifting that up.
Mm-hmm. And now sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and now handing it over.
LaShawna Manigault, the chair of Policy Advocacy and Ecosystem, identified an opportunity that she would love to share with the council.
Thank you, Micah. So good afternoon again. So yes, I was just over the past week, an opportunity came down from the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, issuing requests for proposals from interested parties that are looking to develop an interactive web-based solution to help communities across the state bridge the digital divide. It's up to $150,000 grant. The opportunity covers between May 20th to 2022 to March 20th, 2023. We know that broadband access is increasingly vital to homes, internet connectivity, having access to computers and hardware, as well as the skilling, the digital learning and skilling piece. And so all these opportunities are kind of rolled up, all these opportunities are rolled up into this opportunity. And I thought that this might be a great opportunity for some of the committees and Connect 313 to kind of come together and determine if this is a good space for us. Again, this is a statewide initiative, but obviously we're doing the work here in the city of Detroit, and thought that this proposal might be deemed relevant for some of the work that we're already doing, since we have a lot of these balls already kind of rolling in this direction. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. If there are any other organizations that you feel that are in this space as well, and you'd like to share this information with, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I'll put a link to the full outline of the RFP in the chat so that you have access to that information. But I just wanted to bring it to the group kind of as the committee as a whole to determine if there might potentially be some interest in how we move forward in supporting this initiative through the state. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. I see we have a question from Paula Whitaker-Watkins.
Yes, thank you, Jordan. And I just wanted to ask a question with that particular opportunity, LaShawna, would that enable us to work with groups beyond Detroit 313? So when I think of that, for example, like Highland Park, if they do not work or earn or play, live in Detroit, now that would allow us that opportunity to perhaps extend our embrace of bridging the digital divide. Is that what I'm understanding?
Absolutely, yes. This was sent down from the Michigan Poverty Task Force, from a report that they provided, saying that obviously there's disparity in Michigan as a whole as it concerns the digital divide and that they're looking to address. So I would really love to sit down with other interested members of Connect 313 to kind of highlight and go through this RFP and determine if this is something we feel like we should be a part of. So obviously the initiative is bigger, so it impacts Michigan as a whole, but if there's some ways that obviously Highland Park and Hamtramck and some of the other areas of the city that we also know are under disparity can be impacted by the work that we're doing with this, we absolutely, yes, I would definitely say yes, there's opportunity there, so.
That sounds wonderful. I would love to be part of that planning and contribution. Yep.
Put that information in the chat, so we'll have the information and you have access to the RFP itself, and so that you can read it. But I'd definitely like to see us follow up and schedule something within the next week or so to get together those that are interested and discuss this further.
Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic idea, and that's definitely something we can help facilitate here, because that is, of course, the point of Connect 313 is to pull together a collaborative so that everyone is able to share their information and best practices and make sure that we're getting these net new funds into the city. So, and I mean, into the state as a whole, really, with an opportunity like this. So with that, we conclude our kind of general updates. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about some committee specific information. So before the committee's report out, we did want to share a little bit more about the design thinking workshops that we have been running and kind of what that all means. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Naima.
Thank you, Jordan. Hi, everybody. My name is Naima Wade. I'm pretty new to the team, but I am charged with leading the special projects and shared resources work, and also some of the internal research and learning work that is connected to the work we are doing through this collaboration or through this coalition. And so one of the big things that has surfaced is how exactly do the committees do the work of receiving, assessing, and deciding upon what suggestions to move forward and to fully support. And so the management leads got together and discussed the potential of using design thinking, which is a framework that has been popular in design and sort of creative spaces, but is growing in popularity in government and in business arenas as well, as a tool for solving complex problems, using an approach that really embraces the end user's perspective. So it's centered around what the problem really is and what the end users really need, which is what we want as we work to make sure that our work is locally led and expertly informed. So the management lead's big idea is to use the design thinking framework or an adaptation of this framework to build the bridges between our committees and our stakeholders so that we can operationalize the resources that we have to close the digital divide in Detroit. And so what you see here is three sort of buckets or three checkpoints in the full workflow that we will be using as we embrace this design thinking process. So the management leads will routinely come together and take a look at the suggestions that are coming into the pipeline, and then we will route those suggestions to the right committee chairs for examination. Once the suggestions are moved from the pipeline into the hands and hearts of the chairpersons, then those committees will then start to initialize, some of the early sort of stages of the design thinking process, which the 5-step process is about empathizing with the end user, defining what the problem is that they're trying to solve, ideating some solutions that could possibly work, developing a prototype, and then testing that idea to a certain extent. And so the committees will begin with the empathize, define, and ideate sort of portions of the process. And then as further questions arise or ideas are surfaced, then the subcommittees will then move the initial suggestion that has come in into some sort of a prototype format to discover and discuss, how might we do the thing that is being asked. And then the way that we are going to sort of test the ideas that are coming out of this deeply collaborative process is to bring a formal or more solid or thoroughly thought out proposal to the council and just get reactions to the ideas. And then from there, either, go back, modify, some of the ideas that have been presented or move them ahead for final decision making. You can move to the next slide, Jordan. So, in summary, really, why we decided this was the right idea to try is because design thinking presents us with a process that is really collaborative. It's a 5-step process that all 5 committees can use and repeat so that every suggestion receives a similar and consistent sort of degree of attention to it. And it allows us to have documentation that's consistent across the board. And it allows for feedback at multiple, from multiple perspectives from those on the committee, subcommittee, and the council. Was there one more? Oh yeah, one more slide, please. So the final thing that we thought it would be helpful to share with you all is that when I just talked about having this thorough and consistent process that every suggestion will go through, as the council members, you most likely will not see all of these templates in a council meeting or before a council meeting, but what you probably will see is the one that's highlighted in the yellow box. But just know that by the time a suggestion comes to you, it has gone through several other phases as indicated by these other 3 templates. And in these 3 templates, the committees, the subcommittees, and the suggestion that has been received has moved through all 5 phases of the design thinking process to make sure that we are really centering and supporting what has been presented to us in a way that is meaningful and in a way that deeply impacts the city and the digital divide, which we are working so hard to close. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I think there is some time later in this agenda to hear from some of the committees who have already done their design thinking training. So far, 3 of our 5 committees have had their training. The last 2 are happening in the next week and a half. And by that time, in that time, we will begin to take the suggestions that we have, move them through that process so that by the next council meeting, you'll have several recommendations to review that have gone through this full, complete process.
Yes, I have a question. This is David Underwood.
Hi, David.
Hello. I like this whole idea of this design thinking. I think it's great to kind of put some structure around the way we work. The question that I have is the number of suggestions that may start to come down the pike. And some of them may not even have merit at the end of the day. I don't know if they all come through to the committees or if you guys filter them through the management committee prior to I know you go through them, but do all of them make it through? And if there are some that may be filtered prior to us getting them that they don't make it through, and there's some work and rework that's being asked of the client or the suggester prior to them coming back to us, is that a process? Or I'm just wondering, my question really centers around the volume, because if you go through this process with every suggestion that is made, that could be a lot of time and energy, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering, is there some type of filtering process that really gets us to maybe what we feel needs to be passed on, and some are put back for rework or not a good idea at all? And, I don't know, it's a question.
Yeah, so a couple of people have responded in the chat. We do engage in some slight filtering of the things that come through, especially things that come through that are incomplete, and it's kind of difficult for us to understand like what exactly is being asked. So we kind of circle back to them. But I would say, and other management leads, please jump in because I am still learning. But a part of the design thinking process is to sort of shake out the stuff that maybe is similar to another idea, or there's a distillation process that kind of happens in the work, in the process.
Okay.
So
No,
we
I
do
think
push a lot of things through in terms of volume, but I think what you'll find is that your chair, and I think you are a chair, is that right, David?
Yeah, I am the chair.
Right. So the chair kind of sees, you might see 12 things come for your committee, but then you might say like, okay, 3 of these are alike, right? And then when you're getting ready to run your meeting, you can say, okay, we can review these, yes, but the problem that they're all trying to solve is the same thing. And then that bucketing starts to happen really naturally and organically in the process.
I think Micah weighed in just a second ago, sharing that the actual committee is voting on these suggestions prior to going through this process.
Yes. So that was one thing I
And-
wanted to lift, is that there's kind of 3 phases of triage happening here. So first, there's the management leads who are, making sure that we're sending things to the right committee and that we are getting clarity from whoever submitted the suggestion so that we have the information to give to you. So it's not quite so much guesswork there, and that we're filtering out things that are like truly ineligible, like if you're asking for support for a program that's not in Detroit and you don't plan to run it in Detroit. So we're not going to send you suggestions that you literally can't move forward with. The second level of triage, as Naima said, is with the chair to make sure that if you're getting a batch of suggestions at once, that you have the opportunity to combine some of those together and say, there's 3 different organizations who all want to run a digital literacy program for kindergartners in the east side of Detroit. Like, we don't need to go through this entire process on all 3 of those introducing kindergartners to digital literacy program. You can kind of do them all at once through this and then figure out, is one of those organizations who wants to run this program the best fit once you've gone through this whole design thinking process and figured out this is what we actually want to implement. And then the third level of as Micah mentioned, is that when you get these suggestions, the committee gets to vote before you actually start working through it. So the committee has the opportunity, as soon as you present them with a suggestion, since you are the chair and you'd be the one kind of presenting it, that they can just say, no, we don't want to do any ideas about presenting digital literacy to kindergartners. That's the school's job. They'll figure it out. That's not something that we're interested in taking on this year. And they can just decline to pursue that suggestion at all. And then you don't have to go through all of this design thinking work with a suggestion that you already kind of know the committee is not interested in pursuing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I don't want anyone on this call to think that our committee is not handling suggestions and we don't know what we're doing. We have lively discussions. That's my concern. We get a suggestion and we go through. So I just want to be respectful of my committee's time and the amount of work that might come through our committee based on this volume, just knowing how lively we are. But you answered my question. I think we're good. With this, we have not gone through this design thinking, training and process. I guess we're one of the 2, I believe.
Yeah, you're coming soon. I understand that yours is scheduled for the 7th, and I will be there to help talk and vet out any other questions that you might have.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone else, has any questions or concerns about this design thinking process, we're definitely available to help you through it. If you need a little bit of extra support the first few times that you're doing it, please let us know. We're happy to jump into other committees' meetings and really help make sure that this is a seamless process. And to David's point, that you're not doing it for like literally every single suggestion that you get. There is no pressure to do this for every single suggestion. This is only for the ones that you think you're actually going to go for. So LaShawn, I see your hands raised.
Hi, so really quick, just for clarification. So we're using the design thinking worksheet to submit suggestions as a committee, or are we using the design thinking workshop to think through the recommendations that we receive?
Great question.
The latter.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yes, somebody is coming to your committee and saying, I want to create this program for teaching, kindergartners about digital literacy. And this is you going through and saying, okay, well, what do we know about kindergartners? What do we know about digital literacy? what do we know about creating programming for, you know, young learners? Let's figure out if this is something that we really see building out into a recommendation. And then that recommendation, depending on the cost, would go to either the Joint Assembly or the board to approve once you decided, like, this is the thing we really want to do.
But this is the format that the board would like to see our process come through. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's flexible also. So it's not like every single suggestion you're going to have to answer every single question in the exact same way every time. It's a really flexible process. And when you have the training, you know, Naima goes through a lot of that because she is excellent. So
She had the training. She did an amazing job. I just wanted to clarify what if this was a process to get suggestions into the portal, or this was a process for us to use to comb through the recommendations that we receive.
yes.
And so I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Okay.
Yes, and I did see a great question in the chat that I just wanted to highlight. Will this process be made public so that people know what's going to happen to their suggestions? Yes, this is something that we really want to start publicizing. That's why we really wanted to talk about it on today's meeting. We're going to talk about it at the community conversation. You know, really going to keep publicizing that, like, this is what's happening. So when people submit a suggestion, you know, like they want to do digital literacy with kindergartners, they know that, okay, here's the level of scrutiny that we're going to subject your idea to, and really work through how we would make that happen. So everyone will understand what's going on. And with that, we want to give each committee just a very brief opportunity to talk a little bit about what they have going on. We do have 2 recommendations that are up for feedback. One from the Structure and Operations Committee and one from Devices and Connectivity. So we are looking for feedback on those 2 recommendations that are being made. And then the other committees, I know, just want to talk a little bit about, you know, some of what they're working on, some of their values and priorities for the year, and some of their feedback on this process that they've just experienced. So with that, we're going to start with Structure and Operations.
There's the mute button. Hello, everybody. Happy, what day is this? Thursday, probably. Good to see you all. I am Taquayan, the chair of the Structure and Operations Committee for Connect 313 this year. Really great meeting, lots of great information. I did get a sneak peek at the slides, and so I was really excited to learn about all of this stuff, but I'll keep it short because I know we've been here for a while. So as you see on the screen, there are 2, and Jordan or David, please put in the chat for my understanding whether these are going to be considered suggestions or if these are actually just things that we're reporting out that we've done. But our committee worked on developing 2 pretty important pieces of information that will help guide the infrastructure for Connect 313. The first one here, our committee values and priorities. Jordan, I don't know what you mean. Our values and our priorities are really just a way for us to communicate what our goals and focus is for this year. And so a couple of the things that I'll share with you as we think about what our purpose and what our values are. We really view our committee as one that is ensuring that the projects that Connect 313 supports and the way that the work gets done remains compliant to Connect 313's mission, our vision, and our values. So compliance to what we said we were going to do, because that's what we all signed up for, right? So that's sort of the overarching values that we bring to the way that we do our work, the way that we review recommendations and make recommendations. As far as our goals for the year, our 3 priorities first is prioritizing any opportunities or suggestions that really help engage disconnected Detroiters. So we see a lot of great digital opportunities, and Connect 313 has a new portal and all this great stuff, but everything is still very much so accessible digitally. And so we're charging ourselves with figuring out what ways we can change that so that we can, or make that more well-rounded so that we can actually engage those disconnected Detroiters as well. And we won't be the only committee doing that, but just wanted to let you all know that it is top of mind for us as well. And then secondly, another key goal is to better equip Connect 313 members. So, you know, community members, committee members, our leadership, equipping folks with the tools that you all need and we all need to be successful in your work, and the policies and the procedures that get developed out of that, making sure that they're sustainable. So we see one such policy here that I'll talk about in a second, but really looking at how we review information that comes to us as a suggestion, how we report out on those suggestions and recommendations to leadership and to the community. All of those things, policies and procedures around that, around our governance, et cetera, are really important, but also making sure that you all know about them and know even through transitions that might happen on your respective committees, having a place for people to go and just be able to get information about that. And so that's something that we're working on and prioritizing. And then lastly, making sure that the composition of Connect 313 adequately reflects the demographics of the city, right? So when we think about diversity, we think about inclusion, we're not just talking about digital inclusion, but we're looking at demographics, and we're looking at the composition of committees, the people that are doing the work, as well as the organizations that are receiving funds, to make sure that we don't perpetuate some of the things that we know happens when it comes to funding that I won't get on my soapbox about right now. So that's a little bit about what we're doing as far, or what our values and our priorities are. Again, I'm happy to talk about any of that. And then the second item here on the screen, sorry, I'm reading and talking. The conflict of interest policy that Jordan just said will get voted on by our joint assembly in April. Essentially, we as the Structure and Operations Committee last year started to think about, as we saw some of the recommendations that were coming through, you know, well, should we have a conflict of interest? We should probably have a conflict of interest policies to make sure that no one who is ineligible or otherwise, you know, just promoting self is enriching themselves from any of the actions that we're voting on. And as an organization that is sponsored by a nonprofit, that also is very important. And so we came together and developed a draft of a conflict of interest policy that really just addresses folks that have voting privileges. So not community members or anything, but people that have voting privileges on Connect 313, and making sure that we have a transparent process around what is acceptable and not, and how to, you know, check to see if you have a conflict, because some people might have conflicts and not recognize it, right? So it's an educational opportunity, but it's also a way for us to make sure that we're remaining accountable to our mission and to the community. And so I just wanted you all to be aware that we have thought of that, and we've drafted a policy, and we'll be presenting it for review and voting at the Joint Assembly meeting.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Taquan. And we will make that policy accessible to everyone. So you'll have an opportunity to give any feedback or make any, you know, suggestions of how to improve that policy before it goes to the Joint Assembly. Joint Assembly will get it a week in advance of their meeting. So they will get it on April 7th for the April 14th meeting. So we do want to make sure that we collect feedback in advance of that date. And with that, we want to pass it over to Devices and Connectivity to talk about one of the suggestions that they are working on making into a recommendation, which hopefully will also get voted on then. So
Again, good afternoon. David Underwood here, Chair of the Devices and Connectivity Committee. And actually, I put this in as a suggestion, and I did go through my committee, but I put it in originally as a suggestion personally. But what this suggestion came about as a result of one of the suggestions that came to our committee, whereas a small business was asking and requesting that they be given finances to support them going out making purchases of laptops, and then finding 500 families in need and going and serving those families by doing digital literacy training as well. So they were a technology-based organization that was actually looking to get resources to do what they do. And so with that type of request, we just thought about it. And I felt that, there's going to be so many businesses, and it's already happening. We got so many small businesses and large businesses, for all that matter. Everyone we're asking to engage and weigh in on our process and to be good stewards and help bridge this divide. But there is really no, how would I say, there is no qualifying type process that we take them through to say whether they really truly represent us the way we think we would want to be represented. So as we begin to allow folks to offer up their goods and services to the people and the citizens, residents of the city of Detroit, and they're saying, I'm representing Connect 313, our reputation is on the line. So this whole thing about a vendor list is really to do a process whereby we have a request for qualifications. In other words, all vendors go through some type of scrutiny to even get on a vendor's list to be qualified to be used within this work that we do. So that I don't have to try to evaluate whether or not they're good when they come through a suggestion. It might be a great suggestion, but I don't want to make the determination they may not be the type of company that can deliver. And so I think that process needs this. That's what we have in all the major corporations. They have a process whereby they approve their vendors that can actually do work for them when the time comes. And it's not only just in digital literacy, it might be in all disciplines across the board that come to us, is that we have a process whereby we vet out their qualifications to do what it is they say they do. And it don't have to be so stringent that, small businesses can't participate, but it needs to be some oversight. And that's what this vendor suggestion is about. And we have made that recommendation. Our committee has reviewed it. And we have made it not just about those looking to do training, literacy training, but to encompass all the work that Connect 313 engages in.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, David. I definitely see some folks in the chat who would be happy to contribute to that. It sounds like we need to make sure we have a really solid rubric for how those vendors get judged. And I'm really excited to see that you guys are working on building that out. And I think that that's something that the Joint Assembly will also be excited to see. So thank you for presenting on that today. With that, we want to give digital literacy and skilling a moment to talk about what they're working on.
Yes, hello. Can you all hear me? I'm actually outside. Oh, I'm sorry.
We can hear you a bit. There does seem to be a lot of noise.
Can you mute yourself?
But that's not for me because it's even when I was on mute.
There we go.
Perfect. I'm just muting everybody.
Yes, I don't know where it was coming from. Okay, great. So we're good?
Yes. Perfect.
Thank you, Jordan. Greetings, everyone. And this is Paula Whitaker-Watkins. We are happy to report that we had an excellent design thinking feedback, design thinking training session with Q. And I believe Dr. Wade joined us toward the end of that. But we had a wonderful time with them on this. And we were able to look through one of our suggestions as we were actually learning to navigate the process. With that, it informed our thinking, utilizing the design thinking iterations and cycle. I believe that it will help us as we are looking at our suggestions. We have a number of suggestions that evidently were held over from December, so we really need to dive in. We will be using a Jamboard for some initial kind of thought. Our meetings change from Wednesday to Thursday, so we're kind of conflicting with some of the other 313 Connect 313 wide meetings. So we really want to be prudent in our approach to ensure we can still make some significant progress. But utilizing the design thinking process will help to inform us. It will give us some thought. I believe one of the questions that we had was with the rubric, how we'll integrate that with the rubric. But we can still follow through with our suggestions, and our goal will be for the next review that we have, I would say, a significant number of them ready to come to this body for a decision. That would be our goal, okay?
Yeah, we would love that. Thank you. And with that, we'll hand it over to Policy Advocacy and Ecosystem, who is prepared to talk a little bit about their values and priorities for 2022 and their experience with the Design Thinking Workshop.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so yes, we've had an opportunity to have 2 committee meetings since we've started. The last one, so I'll kind of work in reverse. The Design Thinking Workshop was amazing. I think we all learned a lot. There was a lot of good feedback on the call. Definitely, we are supportive in the way that the design thinking feedback is about solutions and being solution oriented. Having been on the committee last year as vice chair for the Policy Advocacy and Ecosystem Committee, the problem was that there weren't enough, we could not systematize the way that we looked at recommendations, right? There were so many great recommendations that were coming down the pipeline, and we didn't know exactly how to hone in on, the information that we felt like we needed in order to make a very intelligent and informed decision about the direction of the recommendation. So I'm really looking forward to utilizing the design thinking process and format in order to help us scale down the magnitude of some of these, the thinking magnitude of some of these suggestions that are coming down the pipeline, and making this a more streamlined process, a more decisive process, a more solution-oriented process. So I definitely feel that has been an asset that's being brought to the table this year for the committee. The Policy Advocacy and Ecosystem Committee, basically, our vision is to provide empowerment, to promote empowerment across the board. We have a vast array of talent and talented people on our committee. We are in areas that are promoting not only digital literacy for seniors, but for small businesses, for young adults, for children, for women in technology. We have someone on the committee that's data gatherer. We have someone on the committee that is focused on how open access networks can drive property value of the homes and the people in the city of Detroit. So I love this committee this year. We have a vast array of interest and of specialties and expertise that are coming to this committee to make sure that their interests and the interests of their organizations are represented and recognized as we continue to make decisions to bridge the digital divide in the city of Detroit. So empowerment is our main mission. We also want to promote inter-community support. So integrating our existing support in the city of Detroit by widening our footprint, bringing in like the Michigan Labor and Economic Force, and bringing in Microsoft, and bringing in Google, and bringing in some outside sources as an ecosystem committee is part of our mission to widen and expand our footprint and make it easier, create a lane that is easier for these other organizations, these larger organizations, to come through and assist us in our initiatives and endeavors to bridge the digital divide. in the city of Detroit. And obviously promoting digital access awareness and equity for those that are at risk or left behind. One of the things I was able to be privy to was through Teams, I was getting all the invites. And so I jumped on, I believe it was the structure and operations teams meeting as they were going through their design think. And one of the things that they were talking about was the transient and the returning citizen population. And I just thought that that was amazing that they were there and having that conversation. And, you know, as things go, I was also a week later at the city of Detroit when they released their wayfinders. And I mentioned the wayfinders because I knew it was coming, but I didn't realize how soon they were coming. So there's going to be over 30 wayfinders in the city of Detroit. And these are like those information kiosks when you go to the mall or you go to different places that tell you where you are and what's in your area and what shops and things you can support. But they're also going to have mental health resources on there. They're set up as free Wi-Fi for people who need it. They're set up as, you know, destination or geographic supports to help people know exactly where they are and how they can navigate themselves around, and how they can find local resources that will assist them. And so to me, that is the best part about the work that we're doing, is integrating these different tools and resources, and making sure that there is an awareness about what's going on, the opportunities that exist, the classes that are being held, and just ultimately working to push and promote out into the wider community all the different great things that are happening, not only across 313, but just across the city of Detroit as a whole. So we're really excited about this year. We're really excited about what's ahead of us. I don't believe we've gotten too many recommendations at this point that have come down the pipeline, but it's okay because it's helping us prepare and gear up to utilize our platforms to get the word out about what's going on with Connect 313. And also we have the Digital Inclusion Week in October, first week in October, that we're looking forward to. So we're really excited to get on the ball. For those reasons, we've already semi-created a subcommittee on that. So a lot of people that want to be involved in that great opportunity this year. And so we're just really excited about what's going on. So that's all I have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Lashana. And now we have the Special Projects and Shared Resources team. I'm not sure who we have here to present, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about their priorities for 2022.
Shadora Ford, Special Projects and Shared Resources Chair. How are you? How is everybody today? I'm just so excited because I'm getting so amped up just by hearing everyone share, because some of our committee members were on the other teams, and me and Dr. Wade is going, hold on, wait. How do y'all know all of this? And so we have a few people who were amped up and just sharing some information. We did not get a chance to go through any of the suggestions because we have a mixed crew of people who want to do daytime and then some who want to do evenings. So we may have to do some type of split or two meetings per month or whatnot, because we have people who just cannot do it during the day and some who just cannot do it during the evening. And so we work through that, and then we look forward to doing the design thinking on Tuesday with Dr. Wade. But some of our values and priorities was just making sure that we're a support system for the Connect 313. And a question came up, what are the special projects and shared resources? Because we actually have people who is on our team who are actually coordinators or event coordinators who want to be involved in anything that we're doing to share out. So we were very excited about that. And then our priority right now is just getting the basis of getting everybody on the call for the design thinking so that we can look at the 4 suggestions that we have been deemed for our committee.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Shadora. And just a reminder that we will have a feedback form available for those couple of recommendations that were presented today so that folks have an opportunity to give their feedback, especially anyone who wasn't able to attend today's meeting will have an opportunity to give their feedback in advance of the Joint Assembly meeting on April 14th. And just a reminder of some of those upcoming dates. Before that, I know David is available to speak to some of the challenges, as y'all just mentioned, with people getting invited to meetings that they were not necessarily supposed to attend, that we are solving for this.
Yes, thanks, Jordan. So yeah, as we heard from a couple different of the committees, some individuals got invited by accident to other committees, and that's because we've been running into some issues with Microsoft Teams, but we have a workaround on that. So we apologize for anyone that's been invited to another committee by accident. We definitely don't want to send any of our members excessive emails, especially if you're receiving meeting invites for committees that you are not a part of. So to ensure that we avoid these communication errors in the future, we have a plan in place to restructure our committee meetings. So if you see a bunch of meeting cancellations over the next couple of days, don't fret. We do apologize, but we are working through a process to set up new calendar meetings for each committee. So this way you will only see your committee's meetings in your calendar.
Thank you for that, David. And we really appreciate everyone for kind of bearing with us as we figure out the challenges that Teams has kind of unexpectedly presented. But we are going to continue to make sure that you do have access to all of those files and documents in your Teams site. And if you have any other challenges with getting access to Teams, please let us know. And we will find some time to meet with you and be able to troubleshoot anything that you might be going through. Another thing we really want to highlight is that as we're kind of talking about how we process all of these suggestions and how we implement this design thinking approach to our work, is that we do have kind of these cycles for our recommendations. So each time you get a suggestion in your committee and your committee decides to pursue that suggestion, so that's that committee vote portion that happens first, on whatever cadence your committee meets, you have to kind of go through that process of figuring out, okay, this is the actual recommendation we're making. And then you have to bring that to these meetings here for council feedback so that we can make sure that, across the entire network, that we're really giving that opportunity for community feedback before we actually go bring that recommendation to the appropriate body for a vote. So that means that in order for the board, for example, to vote on a recommendation, it has to go through the council process first. So that's why these council meetings are really, really important, to make sure that we're kind of looking at the council meetings as those different due dates for that cycle, so that we're able to bring things to the Joint Assembly and to the board so that they're able to approve them. So just kind of looking at these upcoming dates, the next council meeting will be at the end of May, on May 26th. So that's our next opportunity to showcase recommendations that all the committees are working on. If a committee brings a recommendation to the council meeting on May 26th, that means that the Joint Assembly would be able to vote on that on June 9th, or the board would be able to vote on that on August 16th. So we have between now and close to May 26th, ideally we would love to be able to send them out in advance of these meetings. So as soon before May 26th as you could, May 20th, ideally, to be able to get those recommendations to your management lead so that we're able to send it out in advance of these council meetings, get that feedback and incorporate any of those tweaks and changes so that your committee is ready to go, feels really solid about the recommendation that you're making, and that the Joint Assembly or the board can actually vote to support that recommendation. So we are really looking forward to that. Another thing we just wanted to highlight is that, since these council meetings are only every other month, there's only 6 per year. And that means, since this is our second one, we only have 4 council meetings left for the remainder of 2020. So we do really want to make sure that, the committees are working together and kind of have these dates in the back of your head, that these are your opportunities to bring those recommendations to the larger group, get that feedback, hear from other people's perspectives, and then be able to pass those on as recommendations to the appropriate voting body so that we're actually able to implement some of these ideas so that the organization who wants to hold digital literacy for kindergartners is actually able to get the money to do that. So just a reminder, we do have, in addition to the council meetings, of course, we have our community conversations. So on the alternating months with the council meetings, we do have that just kind of that broad general community conversation where we are able to share, you know, any of these kind of general Connect 313 updates about things that are going on in the ecosystem. And these are also really key because they are opportunities for organizations to be spotlight featured members. So, you know, if that's something that you're interested in doing, you can always let us know. We have plenty of slots available on these upcoming community conversations. If you have any kind of programs or events coming up, we really want to know so that we're able to share it out with the entire community. Just reiterating, the decision-making meetings for the remainder of the year are these joint assembly meetings and these board meetings. So we have kind of, this was the meeting that is the kind of deadline for the April 14th joint assembly meeting and the May 17th board meeting. So the next community council meeting is the deadline for the June 9th joint assembly meeting and the August 16th board meeting. And then, you know, you can kind of see going down that line what all of those opportunities are to, you know, bring a recommendation in front of these voting bodies. And with that, we are actually able to close out on time, which is very exciting. So if you are interested in becoming a Spotlight member, we do have one slot left for our April community conversation. So we would love to see some of your organizations. Let us know if you're interested in being a Spotlight member, and you can present out about any upcoming events, any upcoming opportunities, new programs that you're launching, or just share generally about the work that your organization does to bridge the digital divide in Detroit. And with that, we will have just a couple of minutes for questions. And if not, thank you so much for joining us for today's council meeting. And I'll go ahead and stop recording. So if anybody wants to ask any questions off the record, feel free. Have a good one.